Hello, everyone. It is Sunday, September 8th. This is Liam McMahon with the Weekend Webinar. Thank you very much for joining me. As always, please feel free to put your questions and requests in the chat box. Um, I'll be happy to cover anything that you may be looking for. I will be going through all the majors and most of the crosses, but if I miss one, or if you have a particular pair, commodity, stock, anything that you want me to take a look at, by all means, feel free to request it, and I'll be happy to take a look at that for you. Let's start by reading the risk disclaimer. Should now be on your screen. All right. After you take a quick look at the risk disclaimer, we'll go to the charts. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on this week in terms of data. Talk a little bit about what's going to happen next week in terms of very significant macroeconomic events. And then we'll look at how that may affect some of the Forex pairs today. All right, so there was the risk disclaimer. Now let's go to the charts. We're going to start with chart that I posted the end of last week. This is the 4-hour chart of Aussie CAD. All right, Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. We do have a moving average crosser here that is worth noting. This is the 50 crossing above the 200. That is a fairly well-regarded bullish signal. The last time you can see that the 50 was above the 100 was all the way back here in April. All right, so since we've had this particular bullish development, and hopefully it could provide a nice run up here. We're also retesting some horizontal support, horizontal resistance turn support. The reason I wanted to start with Aussie CAD is because I wanted to kind of make of this webinar trading the crosses, because I think that with the FOMC set up for next week, all right, we have that major September meeting where everyone's expecting, or the tapering program, as it's been called, to begin. I think the dollar may be a little bit goofy this week. So with just position squaring and people looking ahead to the Fed, I'm not sure that the dollar will be consistently traded this week, and I'm not sure that it may jump around a little bit more than it otherwise would. So to me, that says that, you know, might start looking at the crosses, trade those instead of dollar pairs, and hopefully get a little bit more consistency out of that. All right, so we do have a very nice Aussie CAD setup here close to the open. We have a very nice, that's not right. We also do, I have to say, have a very nice Aussie dollar setup as well. All right, this is the 4-hour chart of Aussie dollar. This is the first, I've said before that I consider Aussie dollar to be in an inverse head and shoulder setup, so a bullish reverse setup, but that we have two necklines. All right, the first neckline is this 92 figure that we've actually breached. All right, it's this trend line here, but for me the significant level is 93, and then even as high as 93.50 with this area back here. All right, we haven't quite gotten the same moving average crossover in Aussie dollars we had in Aussie CAD, but it's coming. And certainly there is, I think, significant potential for upward movement in Aussie dollar. But if we get an Aussie dollar rally, Aussie CAD's going to go with it, and it might provide just a little bit more consistency. So something to keep in mind. Let's take a look at another Aussie pair of Euro Aussie. All right, Euro Aussie has broken through. All right, if we want to call this a double top, which I think you certainly could, right around 150. This would be the double top neckline right here, 144.55. We are clearly below it. We broke down nicely. 50 crossing below the 200. Again, it's been a while since that's happened. Back in, again, April. All right, so this significant Aussie decline that we've seen may be poised to reverse or at least correct a little bit here. Getting some moving average, bearish moving average signs in Euro Aussie. We broke a potential double top neckline. And just as a reminder, the double measured move for a double top break, all right, that let's call it 138.50. All right, so that is a 500 or so pip move lower that we could see. That would align nicely here with these previous lows back from July. So Euro Aussie, another Aussie pair that is looking bullish for the Aussie. In this case, it's bearish for Euro Aussie. The one of the significant data releases that we have this week is Aussie related. We have Australian employment numbers on Wednesday night, East Coast time, Thursday morning, everywhere else. So we could see some significant reaction here from this week from the Australian dollar. We also do have Chinese data tonight. We have Chinese inflation figures set to be released in about 5 hours, 5.25 hours. And again, could see some significant Australian volatility surrounding that release as well. So definitely something to keep an eye on for tonight. Aussie yen. All right, Aussie yen. One of the few Aussie pairs that doesn't look overt bullish to me, but it does still look somewhat bullish. I've talked about Aussie yen a lot. As we tested this resistance, I was looking for shorts, and it did indeed pull back pretty nicely from. If you got in around 91.60 and you got out at the lows, you got 100 pips. But this is not a reversal setup anymore. All right, it just has not. The way that it's trading, okay, it's trade. Oops, hold on, sorry about that. All right, it's trading in a flag to me, and I thought Aussie yen also poised to head higher. Again, 50 over 200 on the hourly, definitely 50 over 200 also accomplished on the 4-hour. So Aussie yen also looked bullish. Above 92, it could continue to squeeze higher. I would like to see this correction continue for another couple days before buying that breakout. But that is definitely another pair that you should be keeping an eye on. Euro yen, no problem. We'll just go to there now. We're gonna do let's just do the yen crosses. So let's start with dollar yen. Okay, dollar yen. This was the chart of the day on Thursday, where I talked about the potential for a long dollar yen after NFPs on Friday. I think that I said 98.48 is the level to look for. We got as low as 98.53 before bouncing. Dollar yen, all right, retested this 200 period EMA here on the 4-hour chart. Just fell short of retesting this triangle on that disappointing NFP number. And then it rallied from there. Distinct possibility that we are in for new highs above 125 on dollar yen. All right, if this continues to march higher, we can also see really as high as 103.72. But at that point, we will probably be into next week, and what the Fed does on Wednesday next week will have a decided impact on dollar yen. But I am bullish dollar yen here to start the week. Euro yen. Euro yen has just been amazingly consistent in its trading lately. All right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 touches on the top trend line. 1, 2, 3 touches on the bottom trend line of this wedge, triangle, whatever you want to call it. All right, and basically you play for a breakout. The way that's going right now, it actually looks like it wants to break higher, and I think that that's a distinct possibility. That would be above about 132. Above 132 would be a nice breakout here on Euro Yen. On the other hand, it'd be about below 129.20 or so. For the downside, targets are 124.30. That's the 200-day EMA. And a break to the upside targets highs to about 136, 137. So there is some significant movement possibility on either side of Euro Yen, but it is still, for right now, trading in this wedge. Kind of just have to wait and see if it breaks and how it breaks. Okay, no problem. Let's take a look at pound yen. Pound yen, I gotta be honest, not my favorite pair right now. To judge what it's doing. We have this sort of a double bottom type thing here. And then we have this ascending trend line providing support. And then we have the potential, though, for a double top here yesterday after Friday's candle. Okay, so it's kind of tough to judge pound yen here. If I'm going to be trading the yen crosses, I think pretty much all of them are more clear than pound yen. But you can keep an eye on this range here. If we do see a dramatic over the next coming days and weeks, 156, or sorry, 148 is a good buying opportunity, as is 152.20 or so, which is this trend line at 50-day EMA. We have UK employment this week as well, so the pound will be a little bit busier. CAD yen had this head and shoulders, but has yet to manage to really put in a convincing breakdown. All right, as we've held the 200-day EMA twice, now it's a double bottom. Looks like we're trying to break this double bottom neckline. All right, so if we do manage to see CAD yen break up here, we could see a pretty significant rally in CAD yen, actually. But that needs to get above 96 or so before that really becomes a possibility. So we have a little bit of a ways to go, about 80 or so pips. But it is possible that we could see a CAD yen melt up as well. Speaking of CAD, all right, dollar CAD, very close to a nice supporting trend line here on daily, sitting right at the 50-day EMA as well. So some pretty significant support for the Canadian dollar, or for the dollar Canadian dollar pair. After the sell-off on Friday, which was a result of weaker NFPs and stronger Canadian employment data, we got a very nice 100 pip sell-off here into support. So dollar CAD longs definitely on the radar at the open, so sort of keep that in mind. The dollar CAD long is also nice when you're looking at that Aussie CAD setup I posted. Kiwi CAD is really ugly here. Still kind of a bear flag looking son of a gun. All right. Something like that. So keep that in mind. That would be fade around 84 for new lows. Kiwi dollar. All right, 80.80 starts the major resistance on Kiwi dollar. 80.80 is the 200-day EMA, and 81.50 is this top here. All right, so basically 80.80 to 82, call it, is the major resistance zone for Kiwi dollar. Keep that in mind. Major news this week affecting the Kiwi is the RBNZ rate decision. That is on Wednesday, right after the U.S. close. So keep an eye on that. I would not particularly like to be overly long the Kiwi going into that rate decision. Rates expected to be kept on hold. And the statement will be the focus, and they will likely use the statement as an opportunity to try to talk down the New Zealand dollar. But that may not work, and they may not try to do it. But that's sort of what I'm anticipating going into the release on Wednesday. Pound dollar. Okay, I still like the possibility of pound dollar longs. Let's delete those real quick. This is a break, retest, 50-day 50-day EMA held. Looks like we're poised to get a crossover. We broke out above this. This is better seen on the 4-hour chart. We broke above this ascending trend line as well. We've retested and we're well supported by the 50-period EMA here on the 4-hour chart. So we may continue to see the pound climb. Again, we have UK employment this week, so some risk, some event risk associated with trading dollar this week. Oops, that's not a real symbol. Yep, basically, if that's on pound yen, right? Yeah, pound yen ranging a little complicatedly, but it is stuck in that range. I don't have a good interest in trying to fade the top of that range, though. So like I said, the rest of the yen pairs look pretty bullish. All right, so this is euro dollar. There is a couple possibilities here for euro dollar. It's been beaten up pretty well lately, but all right, we kind of have this expanding wedge type thing here. Bearish crossover, all right, 50 below the 200. Something to keep in mind. Um, I'm hesitant to trade euro. All right, I think there are much clearer setups out there. Like I said, I'm not super keen on trying to trade too many dollar pairs this. If I'm going to trade them, it's going to be the dollar CAD and pound dollar probably. Probably not the euro. But a couple things worth noting. This decline here right before NFPs pretty much played the 50% fib to a pip, which is a fairly strong bullish indication that we may be done with this sell-off correction and we may be looking to head higher. If we do manage to clear this top trend line, call it 132 or so, that should open up a decent squeeze higher. All right, a short to bail. We still do have to contend with this 50 and 200 period EMAs here on the 4-hour chart, both of which serving as resistance right now. But we are supported by the 200-day EMA. All right, that 58% fib and 200-day EMA corresponded very nicely last week. It was a very key technical level, and it held. Not only did it hold, it held aggressively. All right, and we bounced significantly higher. So I think there is a bullish case to be made for euro dollar, and if we do see this wedge breakout, I may try a long, but for the most part, I'm going to try to leave euro on the back burner for this week and focus on some of the other pairs. If you want to try euro longs, may I suggest you take a look at euro CAD. All right, clear short at euro CAD is about 116 pips higher at 138.15 or so. But until then, we could see a bit of a rally here on EuroCAD, especially with the way that the crosses look. It's kind of a riskier trade, but it is worth noting. It's that is the possibility there. The problem with that is, like I said, the clear short is about 100 pips higher, and I won't be able to resist taking that short if we get there. So limited upside for EuroCAD, but it's worth maybe considering playing EuroCAD longs rather than Euro dollar longs if you want to be bullish the euro. Of course, euro yen, very good pair to be bullish the euro on. Might be actually the best one. Let's take a look at some pound crosses. Here's pound Aussie. Okay, starting again, break down a little bit. Hold on one second. Charts, you're being finicky. Alright, so we broke down out of this sort of longer term ascending wedge, which I had been pointing to for a while. Could very much to see a significant sell-off here start on pound Aussie. Now, unfortunately, the entry was 230 pips ago, so now you have to sort of look for a different, more short-term entry to try to join the move. That is kind of one. All right, we're retesting this hourly trend line break here. Not a particularly strong setup, but we do have a fairly strong bearish 4-hour setup here, and then 4-hour daily setup. All right, so that's something to keep in mind. Watch this 50-day EMA. That's approaching at 168.80. Could provide a bounce. If we do see that bounce, it might be a nice opportunity to try to short. The expectations for UK employment are pretty high this month, so we may see a disappointing number there. That's something to be wary of as well. We already looked at Euro Aussie. Let's go to Pound Kiwi. Okay, Pound Kiwi trading in its range. All right, 1.9 is the next level I'm interested in. Until then, I have no great interest in trying to trade Pound Kiwi. I almost never have an interest in trying to trade Pound Kiwi. It's a pain to trade, but if you like it, watch 1960 and 190 for possible longs. Up until that point, I would be very cautious about touching this pair. Pound CAD, another one of my not so favorite pairs to trade because of things like this. Candles like this, and then like this, another one like this, just obnoxious. In the last since the 16th or since 21st of August, we've gone as high as 165, as low as 161, and have not moved anywhere. So it's a very tough pair to trade for any longer than hours or minutes, and it's hard to catch those moves before they happen. So not a huge fan of Pound CAD, but it is consolidating here. We could see it continue to move higher if the consolidation continues to last. But if we start clearing these lows here, look for a significant pullback on Pound CAD. Down below 160.78, closer to 158, the 200-day EMA. All right, Euro Kiwi. I feel the same way about Euro Kiwi as I do about Pound Kiwi. I don't like trading it, but if you want to be this bullish the Euro Kiwi is not a bad option here. I'm pretty sure, I think I talked about Euro Kiwi in Friday's video, but look at the way that we held that bottom trend line there. All right, we are trading very much in a range, have been since June 20th. 3 touches on each side of the range. So maybe now it's time for it to head back up towards 172. All right, if you wanted to be long Euro Kiwi, 164, 163.80 or so is your stop. It's about a 75 pip stop, which is bigger than I like, but that doesn't bother you, and there you go. And your targets are at least 170, if not as high as 172. I have no interest in shorting Euro Kiwi here. If we break down below that trend line that we're sitting on right now, then I might be willing to take a short, but we do have the 200-day EMA sitting at 162.33, which could provide a nasty bounce if we do break below that trend line. Let's take a quick look at E-minis. Okay, I am still cautiously bullish U.S. equities. All right. Well, I should say cautiously and very short term. Looking for this bounce off this trend line to continue up to about 1675, 1680, and then from 1675 to 1680, I'm looking for a potential rollover for a much deeper move lower. But we'll have to see what the reaction is when we get up there. I've talked about this before. I still see this as a distinct possibility. Okay, left shoulder, head, and now we're about to roll up and create a right shoulder. All right, that will be about maybe a 2-month process. All right, let's see. Yeah, about a 2-month process. About a month process. And then from there we may break down. Again, if this trend line fails here, we have about 1, 2, 3, now 4, 5, 6 touches on this trend line. If we do start to see a failure above this, all right, I will abandon that plan and start to look for opportunities to short 150, 1576 or so is a 200-day EMA, and that would be a good first target for shorts, and then we'll see how we handle it. Could very easily see this sort of scenario: break down, bounce off the 200-day, and then a fall back lower. All right, so that's a very distinct possibility on E-minis. But for right now, we're looking for about 20, 30 points higher, and then we'll start to see how the market reacts up there. Again, what happens next week could have a very big impact on equities. I don't have a great concept of how well the market has priced in the various scenarios of next week, which are no taper, aggressive taper, or mild taper with reassuring language. Sort of the three outcomes for next month. And I don't know what the market's exactly looking for, what we're prepared for. So it could be very dicey next Wednesday, not this upcoming one. Which long term is what bullish? Euro Kiwi? Uh, I would have to think so. Um, because of the way that the RBNZ is acting about the Kiwi dollar, all right, they're still very unhappy with its value, and I know fundamentals are improving. If we do see Kiwi reach the top of its flag and roll over, I wouldn't surprise me to see Euro Kiwi continue to make more highs here. All right, this is the weekly chart. You can see it's such a tough pair to trade. We're kind of sitting here on this retest. So we could see, I do think it is longer term bullish. It's just a tough pair to get in on. That 200-week EMA, that's this tan line up here. You can see that's been pretty technically significant. Definitely should be aware of that if you're looking for longer term Euro Kiwi trades. But you should also be aware that long Euro Kiwi will pay a pretty hefty roll against you, so that's something to be aware of as well. All right, any questions, concerns, thoughts, requests, pairs I didn't do? Any requests? Any pairs you want me to take a look at that I didn't? All right, just looked at both Pound Kiwi and Euro Kiwi. Here's Euro Kiwi, trading right at this 4-hour support. Look for a move back up towards 172. And pound kiwi is trading in this 4-hour daily range. 50-day EMA holding right now, but won't look at it really until it's down towards 190, 160, or 190, and then play that range. Up until then, I don't have a great interest in trading either of those within their particular range. Did miss dollar Swiss. Let's jump down to a 4-hour chart, dollar Swiss. Okay, 4-hour chart, dollar Swiss. We sold off, and now we're bouncing off of this 50-day EMA. I still like dollar Swiss to continue its way up towards 97.50, the top of its particular range. All right, but it's about more short-term entries. I don't really see one right now, but it is worth noting that again, we have this bullish moving average crossover to contend with as well. So very possible that we'll see dollar Swiss continue to move higher as well. But like Euro, it's not my favorite. I do like some of the other Swiss crosses. All right, I still like Aussie Swiss to the upside. So finding another entry now that we've broken up out of this descending wedge. We're getting this bullish moving average crossover. We're above this horizontal resistance. All right, so it's about looking for some consolidation here to take along. I also like pound Swiss higher. This is more about finding a pullback. All right, so look for a long. I mean, if we do get a pullback all the way down to 144.71, that would be an awesome entry. 50% fib and trend line retest. Let me show you the trend line real quick. It's not a perfect trend line, as you can see, but it's pretty decent on the daily chart. All right, bunch of different touches there. All right, so that's also the 200-day EMA. So that's pound Swiss. Aussie Swiss and pound Swiss, I like both of them to the upside, but not yet need consolidation or pullbacks. Dollar Swiss, I'm preferring to stay out of. For right now anyway, but we'll see if that changes. I feel the same way about it as I do about Euro. All right, any other requests? All right, we're about 18 minutes shy of the open, so keep that in mind. And what's left of your Sunday, if it is still Sunday for you, enjoy this week of trading. Thank you very much for joining me. As always, I'll be in the chat room to answer any questions you may have. Or you can always find me on Twitter. All right, so thanks very much. Enjoy what's left of your day. Good luck trading this week, and I look forward to talking to you soon.